Andy Keene, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Matt.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to have a sip here a second.
Yeah, that's okay. I can wait. It's all right. You know, you've done a lot of really cool things, man. You did the Sarah Harmer documentary, and you've got an excellent resume, but this is a really good gig. How did you get this job? This show, and this is such a special day.
Yeah.
And it's the Hip, and they're so exclusive with who they work with.
Yeah. So it was a really fun gig, and I feel honored to have done it. But I think it came about probably because of that film I did with Sarah. There's a bit of a family of Canadian music happening over there. These guys are big fans and friends of Sarah's. They saw the film that I did with her. When it came around that they were going to do a show in Bobcaygeon, they thought it was natural that it was documented, and I guess my name came up, and so I got to go meet with them and talk about doing a film. And so it was that's the way it was kind of born. It wasn't I hadn't heard anything about the show. This was 2 months before this show hit the stage that I met with Gord, and then we took it from there.
Wow. How clear a picture? I mean, like you said, they came to you 2 months before the show's happening. They obviously knew they wanted to do this for a long time. How clear a picture did they have what they wanted, and what did they relay to you?
There was a bit of a dogma in place. There was like, dude, we don't want to do a film about us. We want to make a film about the fans, for the fans. This song is like arguably the Hip's biggest single. This is them giving back, I guess, in a way. They play all these massive shows now, but playing Bobcaygeon, this tiny town, was something of a gift. And so we decided in this short amount of time that we'd go and track down some of the biggest Hip fans that the country had to offer, and follow them to the show. So that came together pretty quickly. But they have this big sort of social media arm of their business, and that's how we sort of did the casting call.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the town. I mean, it's interesting because they're probably the only band in the world who could, help give birth to a full documentary story because of a song, right? So what did you learn about the town, Bobcaygeon? Because we do get to see, we saw a little bit in your clip. Tell me about that town and what your relationship with the town was before, if you had any.
Yeah, I didn't have any relationship with it. I knew about it. I hadn't spent much time there. I've done lots of time at cottages and that kind of thing, sitting on the dock, which is so fitting for a band like the Hip, right? I mean, their music conjures up images for us. I think lots of those images involve drinking beer on a dock, sitting around a fire at a cottage. But Bobcaygeon is a town of 2,500 people until the houseboat season hits, and it's full of typical Southern Ontario, that sort of, there's an accent, there's a Bobcaygeon townie. But what you realize, the more you sort of hang out, and when people realize you're involved in this project, is like the band really put this town on the map. People from this town who go other places in the world tell people where they're from, and it's a town of 2,000 people, and the person's heard of it because they've heard a song, this anthem.
I mean, you get a feeling a feeling of it from watching it, but you were there when they actually played Bobcaygeon. What was it like? Did the place just go crazy?
Yeah, it was really magical. I mean, the energy of the whole night was special. I think the band they were pretty pumped. It was a day of music. Sam Roberts, Miss Emily, the Trews were all on the bill. They were all pumped about being a part of this day. And we have nice little sound bites from each of them in the film, because it means something it ends up meaning something to a lot of people.
What was amazing to me was the access you had to the band and seeing them moments before hitting the stage and then literally moments after they performed.
Yeah.
And they're such a private band. That was incredible access you had to them. What were those moments like for you being behind the camera?
They were great. If I could jar that feeling, it'd be nice. But I appreciate that you know that about them, because I didn't know how private they were, and I respect it for sure. although they did want to do interviews and talking heads about what their music was about, they did give me a lot of access, both in their studio in Bath, where I was with them, and then on the bus, as you say. That stuff leading up to the concert, I mean, it's a long scene, and that's because I think there's a vibe there that is as close as you can get to what it's like before you step on stage in front of 27,000 people.
At the end in the credits, you thank the fans and you say their letters and emails are really inspired what you did, right? I wonder if you could just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there's a guy called Mav who runs the social media arm for the Hip, and he sent out, once it was a go, he sent out this email asking people to submit stories about this song, because we're going to make a film and we want to know your stories, and we're going to find you if your story touches us. So it was amazing. We had stories from all over the world, literally Europe, Nunavut, South America, a lot, and a lot in Canada. And it really did inspire. It really made you feel like, wow, this is a really special project to be a part of. And so it did. I think it inspired every decision that I made, and that the crew that we built around the show. We all sort of shared this energy that was brought to us by the fans, because they submitted videos and photos and a lot of stories of heartbreak. It's a love song to a lot of people, and people weren't shy about sending us a nice 2-3 page love story with this music as the soundtrack.
Cool, man. Thanks. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
DVD. Thank you very much.
Okay.